you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. For my 2 minutes today, I would like to show you guys something I discovered last year, and as of now, it's become one of my greatest interests. It's one of my greatest hobbies right now. And the new season began about 2 weeks ago, so I was like, it's a great time to bring it up and share this with you guys. So, Ryan, you can go on to the next slide. All right, so just to give you guys a quick overview of Formula One, it was pretty interesting when I grew up. I would think it's just grown men, driving around go-karts and circles, but as I quickly learned, it's much more than that. There's also a series on Netflix called Drive to Survive. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. So Formula One consists of 10 teams on the grid. Each team has 2 drivers. So during each race, there's a total of 20 drivers all on the track. This year, there's 24 races. Usually it's about 22, 23, but this year they added the one in Las Vegas in November, so it's going to be really nice. And then all the teams visit 21 different countries. USA, Mexico, Canada, to name a few. There's also 2 different types of championships. There's the drivers and constructors. So the drivers, it's obviously, the driver with the most points. And as you can see to the right, I chose that one, Sam, I know why. That was in 2021. So Mercedes, Hamilton had got the most points. For the constructors, this is what I find really interesting, because in Formula One, usually in racing or something like in other sports, it's one person that wins. But in Formula One, it allows the driver and the whole team to compete. So this allows everyone to compete, to the very last race, compared to other sports where like in basketball or baseball, towards the end, they bench the star players. In Formula One, the mechanics, the managers, they can all win a title as well. So that's what I find really interesting. And then the race weekends usually consist, Friday is practice, Saturday is qualifying, and then Sunday is the big race. Sometimes it changes, but that's the main one. And then I put up a couple pictures of some nice cars. The top one is Aston Martin. The 2 on the right is Red Bull and Honda, and then the bottom left is Mercedes.
How long are the races? How many laps do they do?
It depends the track. Some can be up to 50 laps, some 70. So it depends the track. And then a couple of quick facts about the cars. So some of them are worth up to like $20 million. Some less, but as you can see, Mercedes and Red Bull, they're really nice. So they can go up to more than that. These cars can go from 0 to 60 in about 2 to 6 seconds. And the top speed, the current record is 231 miles per hour. Wow. And compared to NASCAR is about like 200 miles per hour. So it's a big difference. And another interesting fact that I learned about Formula One is that in 2021, they put a cap on how much each team could spend. Before it was you could spend as much as you want to fix the cars, technology, pretty much anything. And Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, you can imagine, like, they spent up to $400 million plus on these cars. But the smaller teams like Haas, which is an American team, they only spent like about 170 million. So you could see on the cars like the difference, the performance, and that was something pretty cool to learn. And you can go to the next slide, right? And on this one is a couple of the tracks I wanted to show you guys. In my opinion, this year, these are like the top 3. On your left is Monaco. Yeah. That one's really nice. Fun fact about that, 2 cars have actually driven into the ocean. But now that's all been fixed. The one at the top right is Abu Dhabi. That's the last race of the season. And as you can expect, it's the most expensive track. And the bottom one is the rendering of Las Vegas for this year. Wow.
Wow. Formula One's getting so popular.
On to the next slide, Ryan. And then lastly, just a couple of fun facts. So Formula One cars have over 80,000 assembled parts. And as I mentioned earlier, there's two cars for two drivers. And as you see on the bottom right, so they crashed that one during qualifying. But the amazing thing is that they have to fix that in 24 hours. Wow. For the race the next day. So if they missed a part or something like that, then, they're pretty much screwed. And then also the steering wheels, they can have up to 20 buttons or more. And they can be very expensive, up to 80 to 100K. And then as you can see, that's the Ferrari one up at top. That's I feel like that's the most complex one out there. Wow. And then also very interesting is that, I didn't know this, but I discovered this during the research, but these drivers can experience anywhere from 4 to 6 Gs while driving. And that's compared to the fighter pilot jets who experience 7 to 9 Gs. Wow. So they experience a lot. Their training and workouts are very extensive, very rigorous, because with that type of force, if they were driving like a normal person would pass out, like on the corners or stuff like that, they would pass out. And then lastly, drivers can lose up to 8 pounds per race, which is really interesting. But this is due to the fact that these drivers are subject to high temperatures, high stress, and very heavy and thick fire retardant suits for up to 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, so yeah. And then the amount of water that they get is only about 1.5 liters, and they can't give them more because they try and keep the car balanced or not too heavy, so that's all they get.
Well, pit stop might be a little.
Yeah, and you would think that they would have a sophisticated system, but it's literally just a bag and a tube. That's all they have. But yeah, that's it for This is all I can fit in 2 minutes, but there's so much more to it, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you get the chance. But thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.